Mike Berman joins us on those cute, adorable Chicago Bears.
Struggling.
Oh, Mike, we hope they grow up someday and be a football team. Any chance?
No, of course not.
All right, thanks for coming on. That's Mike Berman, NBC5.
Hit the showers, Bears fans. Berman on the Bears brings you the hits every Monday.
All right, well, shall we do the whole production number? Let's do the whole dance number up front. Here we go.
It's time to bear down. Mike Berman is here to bring you the best of the Bears.
There's a Berman.
Where?
On the Bears.
Oh. Every hit, every touchdown, every Monday. Berman on the Bears. Brought to you by the Berman Auto Group on the Big 89 WLS.
That's pretty good. That was worth the wait. I'm not kidding around.
Yeah.
All right, Mike Berman, we saw it. You saw it. The American people saw it. It's not good.
It's very, very not good. I'm already on to 2024. Are you guys with me?
All right, so let me just take you through a couple of fantastic moments. Play of the game, at least we thought it would be at the time. Justin Fields throws a bullet, a beauty to Chase Claypool.
Fields well protected. Heaves end zone. It's Claypool. He threaded it through. Touchdown, Chicago.
That was a great pass.
Finally.
I mean, the timing on that pass, Mike Berman, was tremendous.
It was a good ball, fit into a very tight window, and
Right.
Chase Claypool, who's been totally MIA, comes up with a good catch, and the Bears, they're within 3. They got a shot in the 4th until
Out of his own end zone. Intercepted by Shaq Barrett. Fighting at the goal line for a pick 6 that just might seal the deal for Tampa.
Yeah. I mean, that's really what it was. It was wah time.
It was.
What was he thinking? Did he say anything in the postgame?
what are we doing? I mean, what are we doing, Luke Getsy, calling a little screen backed up on your own goal line?
You don't throw screens there.
And what are we doing, Justin Fields, just lobbing it up there? And Shaq Barrett made a great play. He read it. And a great play, one-handed pick, and then fights his way in, and it's over. But it's just indicative of another one of these mistakes that Fields is making that he shouldn't be making. Is he's in his third year, is he's in his second season in this offense, and as the Bears look to him to hopefully be the guy that they can build a team around, and the more we see of him, unfortunately, the more it looks like the answer is he's not the guy.
I said yesterday, maybe he was just extremely good at college football, and this, the professional, the NFL side, just not, something for him. But here's the question. Did they bench him? They can't really do that. Is it Fields' fault, or is it the team? Like, where's the team?
Well, they're not benching him. Absolutely not. I mean, you're 2 games into the season, and you don't have a better option in Tyson Bagent or Nathan Peterman. He's your guy, and they're going to ride with him, especially because they really need to give him a chance to hopefully prove that he is better than he's shown, because they've got to make these decisions, after the season. Are they going to pick up his 5th-year option that ends up being about $25 million? Are they going to think about extending him with a big contract, or are they going to decide we got to move on from this guy and use one of our first-round picks on one of these good quarterbacks in next year's draft, and then guys, the whole cycle starts again, and they're just hoping that they get it right that time. I mean, in terms of who's at fault, I think the blame is shared between Fields and the coaching staff that's dialing up the plays. But ultimately, it falls to me. Ultimately, it falls mostly on Fields, because all this work that he supposedly put in to become better at identifying defenses and just letting it rip and making great throws, we're not seeing any of it play out early in the season.
So, I have several painful questions.
Yeah, that's right, Steve.
Yeah. I have several painful questions to ask, including why would the people of Arlington Heights want this team? I just don't understand how a team that has owned the linebacker history of the National Football League, that has had great historic running backs, has had legendary Hall of Fame players, and right now has a sweet kicker. I don't understand how we've never really had a quarterback, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say this. Jim McMahon was not a great quarterback. He was a winner, but he was not fundamentally a great quarterback. He was not a guy who you'd put in your top echelon of NFL quarterbacks. He was a winner. But we have not had a great quarterback since Sid Luckman. How is that even possible?
When you've got your decision makers consistently whiffing on who you're evaluating a quarterback, that's how it happens.
But that's a 7-decade whiff.
Yeah, that's a stinky whiff.
It's just incredible.
It is. It's stunning. And what's so depressing is, for example, you watch the Dolphins and Patriots play last night. You're watching Tua Tagovailoa on the Dolphins. Just every single time he drops back, he's making a great decision and delivering a great ball. And you see it with so many of these young quarterbacks across the league who are they get up there and they look like they belong. They know what they're doing. They're decisive with their decision making. And then you watch Fields and he's holding the ball way too long. He's getting sacked. He's fumbling. He's missing wide open people, streaking down the middle of the field with their clothes on, though. And it's you want to just bang your head against the wall because, like you said, the Bears have found a way to get the quarterback position wrong on the whole for
70 plus years.
And again.
It's just when you see the stats pop up and Luckman is the leader in a category for quarterbacks with the Bears, it's just like it's just more painful every time you see it. Like, how can that be possible?
You talk about the young quarterbacks, and even like Trevor Lawrence came into his own. Like, he's just playing better for the Jaguars as well. But you guys haven't talked about the defense for the Bears. They're terrible.
They are. They've been bad too. And you know what their biggest problem is? They can't get to the quarterback. They cannot rush the passer. And when you can't get pressure on an NFL quarterback who's competent, they're going to tear you up. And Baker Mayfield did that yesterday. Jordan Love did it last week. It was a problem. The Bears were worst in the league in sacks last year, and they barely addressed it in the offseason, and that barely is not making much of a difference.
Last week, it was clear the Giants had the worst loss of the week. They got tattooed by Dallas 40-0. They were behind the entire game to the Arizona Cardinals yesterday. But then at the end...
And this to give the Giants the victory here in Foxborough. 31st time these two teams have met in the preseason. Operation is clean, and Gano has given the Giants the victory in Brian Dable's debut as head coach of the New York Giants.
So, look, I don't know where to go with this other than to say I've looked across the entire league. I don't see a worse loss than the Bears lost to Tampa Bay yesterday. Am I messing again?
You're coming back to the Bears every time.
Yeah, well, it all relates to our own pain.
Yep.
The reason I liked the Giants game is because they lost 40-0. They just got their butts whooped 40-0 in the opener, and they were down 20-0 yesterday to a Cardinals team that everyone thought was the worst team in football. But now we've seen the Bears play 2 games. And so they had literally been outscored 60-0 through like 6 quarters of a season. Talk about total disaster, but credit to them, led by another younger quarterback who's been under fire, but who earned a big contract extension, Daniel Jones, and they come back and win. So, at least they managed to avoid total disaster and a dumpster fire start to the season, which, Steve, let's bring it back to the Bears. They have not.
No, they have
Can I just
not.
put a positive spin on it, guys?
Well, one more negative first.
Okay.
At least we're not the Bengals, because the Bengals were expected to win. That's all.
Yeah, and that's a good reminder of, from year to year, how challenging it is to win. I mean, we're talking about the Bears stinking early in the year and obviously coming off a terrible season. But even for good teams, it's not easy to win in the NFL. And the Bengals, a team that had Super Bowl aspirations, is now in that unenviable position where you're 0-2 to start the season, and it's tough to make the playoffs that way.
Yeah, and the Bears are not scheduled for mathematical elimination for 2 more weeks.
That's it. That's your positive spin. So, by the way, glad the Lions lost in overtime against the Seahawks, but positive spin here, there's always next week. Like you just said, mathematical equations, we're not out yet.
No, they are. Right. They have been eliminated from a chance to win next week at Kansas City.
Yeah, I actually recommended earlier that they just call Kansas City and say we're not coming. We're just not coming.
It'd save them the time and the money on the plane and the hotels and the whole thing.
That's what I'm saying. Mike Berman, NBC5. Thank you, buddy.
Geez. Thanks, Mike.
You guys are the best. Have a great week.
Hit the showers, Bears fans. Berman on the Bears brings you the hits every Monday. Brought to you by the Berman Auto Group, right here on the Big 89 WLS.